16th of August 1992. Rhythm is a Dancer is the UK number one, Unforgiven is the top movie in the box office, and Nigel Mansell has just won the 1992 Formula One Drivers' World Championship for the Williams team. After this historic victory, something happened behind the scenes, and I like to imagine it looked a lot like this. Wow, I am the 1992 World Champion. What a season. I have set the record for the most wins in a row from the season opener, then gone on to set the record for the most race wins set in a single season. I also now hold the record for most wins by a British driver, and I drive for the Great British team of Williams, for whom I have the record for most wins, podiums, poles, fastest lap, and points. Man, I cannot wait to get started on the 1993 season with that great deal we agreed, Frank. To which the Williams team boss Frank Williams replies, "That's great, Nigel. We've signed Alan Prost for next year. I won't be honouring our deal. Bye!" This move upset a lot of people, understandably. One of whom was chief designer of Williams, Adrian Newey, and when renegotiating his contract he added in an extra clause saying that he must be involved in all major negotiations, which included signing drivers. Meanwhile, Nigel Mansell will return to his hometown of Upton-upon-Severn, never to race again. Only joking, Nigel Mansell joined IndyCar, winning his debut race, becoming the first person to do it in over 25 years, and then would become the 1993 IndyCar World Champion. And because when he won the championship, the 1993 F1 championship had not been settled yet, Nigel Mansell will become the only person ever to hold the Formula One and IndyCar World Championships at the same time. And he did this because Nigel Mansell is an absolute legend and should have had the Williams 1993 seat and should have become the 1993 Formula One World Champion. Hashtag justice for Nigel. Anyway, back to the story at hand. And to the 13th of October 1996. Words by Boyzone was the UK number one, and the number one film was The Ghost in the Darkness. That's a song and a film I've never heard of. But more importantly, Damon Hill had just won the Japanese Grand Prix and the 1996 World Championship. And after this historical win, something happened behind the scenes that I imagine looked a lot like this. Wow, Frank, I am the 1996 World Champion. All year I haven't qualified off the front row, I have 8 wins from 16 races, and I have become the first son of a world champion to become world champion. I am now second all time for Williams in terms of wins, podiums, poles, fastest lap, front row and points. I'm just behind Nigel Mansell, one of the greatest of all time, and the person who should have won the 1993 Formula One World Championship. Hashtag justice for Nigel. I can't wait to get started on the 1997 season for this great Williams team. To which Frank replied, "That's great, Damon. I've signed Heinz-Harald for next year. We will no longer be requiring your services. Bye!" Now, I know this is about the mistakes of the Williams team, but we're going to take a quick detour here to talk about the huge mistake of Damon Hill. After being given the boot by Williams, Hill was offered contracts by Ferrari, the team with his longtime rival Michael Schumacher, McLaren, the team with Mika Häkkinen, or Benetton, the team with Jean Alesi. Out of the top 4 teams of 1996, 3 of them were offering Damon Hill a contract. The only one that didn't was the Williams team that he won the world title for. So with these huge contracts on the table, Damon chose to sign with Arrows for the 1997 season, a team that had been known as Footwork in 1996 and had scored 1 point all year. This was a huge mistake from Damon. The highlight of his 1997 season was a second place in Hungary, which should have realistically been a win if it wasn't for Arrow's reliability. And Damon would move to Jordan in the 1998 season before retiring in 1999, stating that if he isn't competitive, he's not interested anymore. Anyway, back to Williams. When deciding to drop Hill for Heinz-Harald, Frank Williams had not spoken to Adrian Newey. As this breached his contract, Adrian left the team. not before designing the 1997 car, which would win Williams their 9th and final Constructors' Championship. Newey would then join the McLaren team, where he would design the cars that would win the 1998 and 1999 World Championships. Meanwhile, Williams would go winless in both years. And they painted the car red. I mean, a red Williams. What? They didn't deserve to win. The 2000s would see neither Williams nor Adrian Newey win any championships, and Williams would have a slight revival from 2001 to 2003, finishing second in the Constructors' Championship twice to Ferrari. Newey would then leave McLaren in 2006, not liking the corporate structure and feeling as if he was ignored. He would join Red Bull, where he would win 5 Constructors' titles and 6 Drivers' titles. In that time, Williams have won 1 race, thanks to the dark arts of Pastor Maldonado. Since leaving the team in 1997, Williams have scored 1,676.5 points, whereas Adrian Newey has scored 7,453. It might be a little too much to say that the sole reason for Williams' downfall is the leaving of one man, but there's no denying that this had a huge effect, and Williams would have been a lot more competitive with Adrian Newey designed cars. In an interview with F1 magazine in 2012, Frank Williams admitted that letting Adrian Newey go was a mistake and called him a remarkable individual. And while singing the praises of his own team and being optimistic that they would get back to the front of the grid, he did say there was one big obstacle to their success, saying, "It's called Adrian Newey. There's only one of him." While it is undeniable the achievements of Sir Frank Williams, who was able to build a racing team that could not only go toe-to-toe with the giants of Ferrari and McLaren, but also beat them, it must also be said that some of his strange business decisions led to his team not achieving even more. For the final 3 races of the 1994 season, Nigel Mansell came back to the Williams team, to team alongside Damon Hill as he tried to win the World Championship in the Adrian Newey designed FW16B. In those 3 races, neither qualified lower than 4th, with Nigel getting a pole position on only his 4th time ever driving the car. They were both able to get a win each, and Damon even picked up an additional podium. And while both drivers did suffer 1 retirement each, one driver error and the other, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that at this time. The Williams team of Mansell and Hill, in a car designed by Adrian Newey, could have dominated the 90s in Formula 1. But right now, it's only dominating my dreams. That's all we've got time for this week. Let me know what you think. How well could Williams have done if they had managed to keep Mansell, Hill and Adrian Newey? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye.